Ooh, we are back. It's been a while. How many weeks has it been, Tracker, since we went on? 2 weeks, maybe together.
I
Two and
think
a half,
so. At
3.
least at least two. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
that's on me. I just haven't been feeling really well lately. I've actually been having some mild health issues that were, scaring me, and yeah, then I get like seasonal affective disorder. So when I come out of the winter blahs, the depression, it emerges with like some anxiety. I don't know. That was happening independent of the market correcting, and then on top of that, the market correction didn't make me feel any better. So it was just like I just had
Yes.
to hole up for a little bit and try to feel better and figure out what was going on with my health. Um, but that
None
aside,
of us are
I'm
immune to the market weakness. None of us are immune.
right, and we're all mortal. So
Yes, we're all
I
humans.
found that out a little bit extra this last couple of weeks. Anyway, I'm going to be fine. I just have to get better diet and exercise, and yeah, and try to stress less. And
Well,
I don't know, maybe the market
it's,
will help us with that soon. 2025, I think, is still going to be a volatile year, but I think I'd like to say that the bottom is in for the correction and for
yeah.
Tesla and all that.
I think it's one big shakeout and things are going back at least to the mean, like a reversion back to the mean, at least
Yeah,
back maybe up to the 580s for the SPY here. And then we'll see what happens, right? So we're not going to say it's
right.
clear sailing just yet, but right now the 561 held perfectly week over week. This is proof, right? I always wait for proof, and this is the proof. 2 weekly candles in a row that closed above the 1.618, which was a previous resistance back here in July of 2024, August of 2024, and it held. So now pre-market price is back at 571. It has room to go all the way back up to the conversion on the baseline up here, which is right around 581.
Yeah,
And if that can happen, then good things can happen, right? So if this ever gets back to a support, and this, remember this 585 I was talking about before right here, the log scale fib, if this ever gets reclaimed as a support, then I think it's go time, right? But until then, we are still just in a big range, a big giant range here. So yes, it's a good sign of recovery, but don't get too excited just yet because it's just range bound going back to the mean of everything, right? Everything's doing that, whether it's SPY, whether it's QQQ, which is the 497 up here, and even the conversion baseline at 503. So that's the zone to really break above to get a lot more bullish for the QQQ. But in the meantime, just going to be watching this 50-week moving average to see how price reacts around 486.11. If it can close the week back above that this week, then that'll be a great step to overcoming and getting more and more bullish as well. And the IWM, we can see that price is going back up to the 208 now. And on linear scale, actually, the 203 held perfectly at right there. And the top of the cloud does sit around 211, and 212 is that 618. So ultimately, there is a ways to go for the IWM. And the 50 week is still up here at 215.91. So for this one to get a lot more bullish, it's going to have to recover a lot more and even get back above this 786 up here. And once it's back above the 226.74, then I think it's going to be go time. It had a chance to break above back in February and January, but it failed and came all the way back down here. So it would be nice to see just a V-shaped recovery out of here, but just still be mindful that everything is just reverting back to the mean. And it is a good thing, but we need to see how price handles everything when it gets there, because if it gets rejected and comes back down, things could be scary once again. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we are looking more optimistic.
indeed.
And yeah, tracker. So do you have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, let me remember to share my chart here. Where is it? Oh, hang on a second. I just have to bring it up. I'm sorry. I'm so out of the habits of everything here.
Yeah, where are the buttons?
Yeah,
What's
exactly. Oh,
going
no,
on?
here it is. Where's my chart? Is what I was looking for. Let me take this to the SP. Let's do the SPX. No, we'll do the SPY. We'll keep it the same terms you had it in. So, yeah, this is kind of what I was hoping for the SPY. I've got shared on my screen here. This would be like a almost a V-shaped recovery. Maybe this is like a K-shaped recovery. But what do I want to show? Well, here, right here, here's that Ichimoku weekly conversion and baseline coming together. So the danger, obviously, I mean, not so obviously, but the danger is if we come right back up to here and can't get back over this, that this could turn into sort of a no, I'm sorry, I'm doing it wrong. Sort of an A, B, and then C situation. This is the danger. This is what we don't want to see. So, all eyes should be right here when price comes back to check out this Ichimoku conversion baseline of the weekly around 581, like Matt was just talking about. If we can get over it, then great. We can keep doing a recovery. Even if it kind of comes up to here, then makes a higher low and then re-challenges it again, that'll be bullish. But if it just rejects it and then starts making lower lows, then that would be, kind of like, oh, maybe we should stop loss and wait and see what happens after that. But that's it. So the bad version is if it does ABC down this way. The good version is if it keeps going. So let's just looks for at least, I don't know, the best would be a breakout over this and then back test to it. But probably more cautiously. It creeps up to it, comes back a little bit, and then test it again. That's all. I guess I wanted to ask you, I was kind of gaming this in my head for Tesla, the big question. So, Matt, just what do you think about for this week in Tesla? What do you think? What would you like to see this week in Tesla?
I really just like to see back above like 250, especially. I'll just show my chart before you go
Yeah,
into
please.
yours. Yeah, so my Tesla chart here, I have this GAN that I've been showing for a while now on the weekly updates. And yeah, this angle right here, we can see throughout time since even 2018, where it was a support and a resistance zone. And during COVID, it just flashed through it and recovered. And we're seeing something aggressive like that this time too, right? It's kind of similar because look at like during COVID in 2020, it went up to the blue level and then just collapsed, and then we went up to the green level and just collapsed, right? So it is very
Oh, yeah.
similar to the levels, right? So what we're seeing is this one went a lot deeper past the angle, but this one went just right at the angle because that angle has been really a stellar support zone, and still it's no change right now. So even though it did cut through all the Fibonacci levels, all the moving averages right there, it still maintained the market symmetry. So which is why I think sometimes looking at all the other stuff doesn't really matter too much, because market symmetry is king when it comes to Tesla. So now we're back where this is a previous resistance. This arc right here, previous resistance. Now it's looking like it has a chance to actually reclaim it as support. And what I'm watching the most is the end of the month. And the end of the month is coming soon. And so now we see the 50-week moving average is at 268. So I think it has room to go up to the 260s, maybe 270s up there and retest that resistance zone. But what I'm focused on most for the rest of this month, which is coming soon, 7 days, 8 hours to go, and look at that 50-month moving average at 250.57. So just a simple, I should say, aggressive back test of that 50-month moving average in 2 monthly candles. It got there, and if it holds, then everything's fine, right? The trend is still great. Every time it goes back to the 50, it quickly reclaims it. Even back here down in 2024, it did go below it for a bit, but it still reclaimed it after some months, and now we're looking at that too. So the trend is still fine, the monthly trend, and that means that if that gets maintained month over month, I think in the months to come, it'll have the opportunity to continue higher. And then we can go check out the weekly Ichimoku cloud and just try to climb out of it, right? Whether it takes a short amount of time and just like goes straight up, or if it just goes to the 50-week and comes back down and just does something like this, I'm fine with that too. And then if that just climbed out of the cloud like that, that would be maybe back to the 350s by June of 2025, right? So that would be okay. But I'm looking for a recovery, and I'm looking for this zone to hold, simply because this angle right here has been proof of support. So I'm looking for just staying above 250, 251 for the rest of March. Stay above that 50-month moving average, and then things can recover naturally.
Very cool. Well, I've got a little preview of what I'm looking for. I posted it publicly this morning. Um, on the the short term here, we did open with a pre-market gap from Friday's close to the 4 a.m. Monday open. So, not gaps don't always get filled, but I wouldn't be surprised to see price run back down as low as 246.10. This 618 extension, it basically did a 50%, 236, then not quite 100%. It kind of came to this larger degree, 11.4% off of the 101 low to 488 to 215 fib extension. And that's also sort of where the 4-hour moving average 75 is. So actually above it right now. I'm kind of getting back into looking at my RSIs again. The RSI looks pretty oversold in this time range. And whenever market makers get a nice little bit of a profit, they love to sell off and run back, capture the profit, buy back lower, and keep going again. So the hijinks I'm looking for this morning might be a sell off to about 246.10. If not, maybe just touch this gap back, 249.50 or so, and then push up. And then, I want to see 306.28. Obviously, this will be 5 waves up inside here, something like this to 306.28. So, but let's see what happens here, and then I'll give you guys some more projections around between here and 306. And then longer term, I'm still looking for this, where price comes up to the 764, about 510, back to the 382, around 362, up to 700, around the 1618. Sorry, all my numbers are kind of crossing over each other, but yeah, this is still like that big one. It goes 700, back to about 600, and then over 1,000. So let's see. That's a long ways to get there. But that's the kind of bullishness I still feel about Tesla, despite everything that's been going on these last couple of weeks. All right, that's enough of that. Shall we do requests? And thanks all for the nice comments, everybody. I appreciate it. Let's see. Is Velo?
Oh, those are I'll do those first. Those are
cryptos. Yeah.
Let me just jump on that with my screen here. Let me just get it ready first. Get it ready.
I guess we should say that with the Bitcoin, people were, concerned about getting back over 85,000, and it did that over the week. It closed the week over that. So
yeah, actually, before I do Velo, let me just go to Bitcoin, because I wanted to show just Bitcoin what it did. So it reclaimed a very, very important zone, and that's the baseline on the weekly chart, and even the 83,558, the 1.272, it reclaimed that. So a lot of people that were saying, the low 70s or 60s or whatever's coming, well, price says otherwise right now. And is it going to smash through this 45-degree angle? And the answer is probably no. So it is at resistance right now, 87,700. And going back in time, you guys can see right here, this is your resistance target right here, where it was a previous resistance. Tried to break out, flip to support, but not yet. So it's still going to be a little bit range bound, a little bit tight. And until it gets back above that angle, and most importantly, once it gets back above this 91,158, then I think it'll be back to full bull mode. But until then, I think it's just going to be a little bit of caution in this zone, right? Because resistance support down here was flipped to resistance for a couple of weeks. Now it has been reclaimed, but now it's going back to more resistance here, and then more resistance up in the 91. So we're in the right path. but it's going to take some time. But the most important thing I think I want to show you guys is the monthly chart on Bitcoin, and that is looking beautiful because look at this. 2 months in a row, it did go down to the conversion line and it held, and 2 months in a row, went through the 83,558, and it still has not closed a monthly candle below that 83,558. So this is looking better and better. That maybe this 45 can get broken soon, even by the end of the month, and then possibly the 91 can get broken as well. And if this month recovers both of these resistance zones, then I think we're gonna just probably head straight up for the back to the hundreds again, right? So this is looking better and better. The monthly chart is a gauge of what really happened. We can kind of see something similar before, right? Back in August of 2024, it did wick down there for a couple of months, just like here, down through the conversion line right here for a couple of months, and it did the same thing. Then the next month, it just went straight up. So if we're seeing something similar to that, then that'll be very, very nice going into the summer months. And yeah, so I am more and more optimistic now, especially watching this monthly chart holding that 83.5, especially the weekly chart reclaiming the baseline and that 83.5 1.272. So support held, guys. That's what's important, right? Holding that support is important. Now we got to break through resistance above, and I think it's coming. Just got to give it some time. And with that is Velo. So yeah, Velo, it is a very nice market structure with higher highs and higher lows, right? And it went right back down to the 100-week moving average and the angle there, but now it's kind of getting blocked by the arc right here. So this is your resistance zone, and that's 0.0135. So that's going to have to get reclaimed as support in order to go higher. But ultimately, this fib right here, the 0182, the 382 fib, it's got to get reclaimed in order for it to go higher. So that's what I'm looking at for Velo. In the meantime, it's just stuck in a range. And I see for DAG as well, and DAG is holding support as well, right? It's holding the 236 down here, the 0.04099, and the 100 and the 50 weeks. So that is a good thing. But again, it's inside the cloud, lots of resistance above. So this is just a big range. It's stuck in between current price, let's just say between 4 cents and maybe up here, the 382, the 0.065. Right, just this giant zone right here. It's stuck in between. So got to give this one time. But as long as this support holds, which I think there's a good possibility, that price can continue its journey higher. And I do see a couple more crypto that just came in, so I'll do that before I relinquish control. ADA still is under the 200-week moving average. It's really trying to break it, 0.7307. So again, another crypto that's just stuck in a range that is at resistance right now. So let's see if it can break free, and if so, then has a chance to go back up to the 83. But this is the zone that needs to clear to get more and more optimistic, and that's around 83 cents up here. So that means support is still down here, guys, at 60 cents because it can't break this resistance just yet. And any news on XRP? Well, there was a SEC news, but we do have a range, right? And that range is the baseline 194 and the conversion line 249. So it can't break above that conversion line just yet, but it is holding that 225. I did have a fib there, if you guys remember. It was the 886 fib at 225. So that zone is really important to hold. And I think basically if it just stays above that 225 or even this baseline down here, then I think it'll just gravitate closer to the cloud. And one of these weeks, yeah, I think it'll go higher, right? It'll go higher. But one thing I wanted to point out too is when we look at a chart like this on the 4-hour chart, when we go to linear scale here, I think it's important to see. Let me just take this off. Actually, no, I have a 4-hour chart right here. Sorry. I don't need to change it right there. Yeah, so my 4-hour chart is holding the orange GAN level there at the 230s. Oh, yeah. But what I wanted to point out, though, is I made a post yesterday how this basically was the trend line here, where it was resistance. It broke out, failed, broke out, successful back test right there back in on the 18th, and now it's continuing to go higher. But we do have the arcs coming up soon here in the 260s, 250s. So it might just take some time to break through all of that. But I do like this break of trend, and I do think that it has potential to go higher. And not only that, if you drew like even another trend line like right here, it's kind of holding that little trend line as well. So this has potential to just continue its journey higher, but it's still stuck under this weekly conversion line right here at 249. So nothing really is going to happen until it can break free of that. So with that said, go ahead, Troy.
XRP, the waiting continues.
Yes, it does.
Let's see. Well, I pulled up. I pulled up my MicroStrategy chart here. Start with. Oops. Thanks. That was my Amazon device in the background. MicroStrategy. After starting, my wave starts down here at $100.49. It does a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive waves up here to that 543 high. Then an ABC. Well, actually, it's more like 5 waves down again. It kind of makes this whole thing look like a zigzag. But regardless, with this being the wave 1 top and this being the wave 2 bottom, I'm going to look first for a 382, 236, 618 bounce. I'm sorry, wait. 1, 2, 3, 6. Why do I have it like this? You know what? I think what I was doing is I was looking at the fractal of this one, and this one did 50%. Let's just stick what I've got here. No, hang on. Let me think of my MSTX. I don't think I redid my MicroStrategy chart recently, but I did do the MSTX. Just want to double check. No, I didn't. You have to forgive me. I've been at it for a couple of weeks. Yeah, you know what? Let's go back to MicroStrategy. Let's look for the 382 extension first. So I'm looking for 429.30. In the pre-market this morning, we have a gap up again, that you can see. Market makers might try to just backfill that gap a little bit before pushing higher. So if the 351.22 is going to be support coming back, there'll be resistance on the way up there. So just look out for that being resistance right here. It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't know. I like it above the moving average 75 here, my orange line. So maybe look for it to back test back down here to 302, then get back over it, and then keep going up, and we'll see how it goes from there. I don't know. Sorry, larger degree chart. I'm looking for this, which seems a ways off, but 429.30 is what I'm really looking for next. After getting over 351.
Yeah, I have my MSTR chart too. Let's see here. All right, yeah, so MSTR on my chart, we can see that price is, it held that support here, the 245.46. It did shoot up and it closed the week back above that blue level of the GAN right there, which kind of was foreshadowing of more continuation to the upside. And sure enough, we were getting that, but guess what? It's right back to the weekly conversion line around 317.96. It has a chance to maybe open up above it. And then if so, it could even continue up to the 340. But as I showed you just recently, that Bitcoin is back at resistance as well. So if Bitcoin's at resistance and MicroStrategy is at resistance, then perhaps it might not go further this week. But we'll see. We'll see if Bitcoin can continue its journey higher and push through that resistance to continue higher. And if so, then yeah, 340 could be on the table for MicroStrategy. But ultimately, I need that 340 to get reclaimed to get a lot more bullish on this chart once again. But getting back above the blue level does look very positive. Now it is getting closer to the cloud as well, which kind of means that this really has some weeks or maybe months before we could see a big breakout to the upside. So I'm getting more and more optimistic, but need to see that 340 reclaimed as support. And since we're here, I guess I'll do Coinbase as well, since I think that was requested.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
It was. Yeah, so Coinbase, we can see right here that almost a perfect back test of the weekly cloud. And now this 702, 197.27 is looking like it's trying to get reclaimed. I was talking about that all last week. And right now, pre-market, it is 197.85. So it has potential to open a weekly candle on top of it, get back on top of the weekly cloud there. That is fantastic if that happens, because then the cloud and this 702 can become support again, and then there's a lot of room back to the top here. Even the ARC is in the 220s, and then the 786 is back in the 240s. So I do think the potential to have some sort of like a V-shaped recovery is there, because it's getting back on top of the weekly Ichimoku cloud. And tracker.
Pretty cool. I pulled up my Palantir chart. Let's see what we can divine from it. This is the 8-hour chart. I don't know. I guess I'm fond of 8-hour moving average 75s and how the price goes around. I've decided to go from the let's see, I guess the carry trade low. Yep. To calling this my wave start, wave one, wave two. And then so the extension went to almost 100%. Then it ran all the way back to almost the start under the 23.6%. I guess that could be the 11.4%. We're getting these volatile swings are just wild. They're not anything like 2023 and 2022 used to be. But after going to almost 100% and then crossing to 23.6, reclaiming the 382, I almost want to see it try for, well, let's look for the 1382 first. No, because it went almost 100%. Let's look for the 1618 and then back to the 123.6 and then on to the 2382, maybe the 2618. But again, the good news is that wave 1, 2, and then the minor degree 1, 2 seem to be done here. So we should be in the heart of the third wave, which of course will have 5 subwaves inside of it, something like this. But that should happen. So Palantir is looking really strong. Obviously, from this 1, 2, it never made a lower low. It just ended up with a higher high and a higher low. So yeah, Palantir looks really good from here. And my projections just keep taking it on up farther. Sorry, I don't have anything smaller to show you other than just.
I agree.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I agree with that. I don't have anything to add. I think it has a good chance to recover now for Palantir.
Yeah. Let's see. Should I do ConL? I feel like I did ConL on Friday for my charts. Yes. Let's see. For ConL, it did make a lower low after this high. That's from, I did do this on a weekly chart. That's why I kind of decided to leave out the after hours price action there. But yeah, I was hoping any one of these was going to be the lower low or the higher low, and no, it made a new higher low. I mean, a new low here, 1511. So this being the wave start, wave 1, wave 2. I'm kind of looking for a 50% retrace, but maybe just this 382. Watch these fibs here from the $47. If it gets over $47, look for it to get to $56.89, and then run back to 30.43. Again, I guess if this is going to be support, then look and see how much resistance it is on the way up there. If it isn't much resistance and it keeps going higher, then maybe these can go higher. But for now, I'm gonna. I guess to be safe, let's look for $47 first and see if we get up to there. And if so, there could be a 3.2, 236, 1236, 764, 2236. So that would be sort of the. Just delete that. Maybe something like this for ConL. I just want to see what happens next as it approaches this 20.6% fib extension to $34.83.
Yeah, and if Coinbase and Bitcoin continue to do well, then I think ConL will do well too.
Yeah. DXYZ is another one that we got a request for, and it did also make an even higher low than I was hoping for. But this is the pattern that it's in now, with that higher low putting at $25.17. A stellar recovery would be the 764, 382, 1382, 100%, 2382. So I'm hoping for that. But again, let's see what kind of resistance it gives us at 4130 and then at 5128. Because if it resists at 41 and then 51, then maybe I'll have a different chart for you that looks more like this. But we'll know on the way there. We just, before I was really happy with the action we had back here because it looked like it confirmed some of the things we were getting, but then no, it went and made a new lower low. So now we're kind of back to this. I got to see the 1 and I got to see the 2 to project the 3, 4, 5. So maybe we get this instead. So just watch. Let's see what happens at 4130 next for DXYZ. And it does also have a pre-market gap here, so don't be surprised if it sells back down to the gap just for some profit taking and then strengthening.
Yeah. All right, I have
so mind the gap.
I have Oklo on my computer, and Oklo, we can see that this 1.272 held kind of perfectly as support. It really even went down there here, but it was a previous resistance back in 2024 breakout and a back test. So can it go back down to 22? I mean, it had a chance here. It really did have a chance right at this weekly candle last week, but it did not. It did not do it. It even closed the week back above the 2646, which meant that price probably wanted to continue its journey higher. And that's exactly what's happening pre-market now after weekly candle close, again above that 2646. So basically, if that continues to hold, then probably 222 will not come, right? 2646 looks like it could be a good support zone for the potential to move back up, but that just means it's in a range. So 3163 to 2646. So nothing really is going to change with that situation until either one of those fib levels break. So if the top breaks, then perhaps it'll go back up to the 40s. But if the 2646 does actually get broken again, then yeah, you'll get your 22 again. But right now it doesn't look like that's the case because it's holding very, very well as support.
Let's see. I'm just drawing. I've got. It's kind of fun when we both do the same chart. So here's Oklo, and I'm just moving my 5 impulsive waves around. Oklo. The thing about the weekly chart is that the moving average 75 is moving so slowly. So I don't know. This chart might move. It might take a while. Like, what am we looking at here? 2025, 2020. It might be 2026. Well, this does kind of get into towards the end of the year. But let's see. It after the retrace that it got was a 70.2% retrace from the previous low to the high, and then back to retrace here. If it got, let's sort of do this for now. I'll keep looking at 382, 236 is a lot. So let's see if it gets resistance at 35.90, and then but pushes up to 43.72, then back to 35.90 support. In which case I would project the 123.6 next, 89 back to the 764, 64.19, and then 2236 for 143.04. But again, I just need to see the 1-2 complete first to be sure. Talking strategies. A lot of times it's great to buy these strong dips and then sell into every kind of a little bit into the resistance that you see. If you want to be cautious and wait, after you get this first 1-2, that's usually the best time to buy in. Once you see it hit a higher high and then a higher low like this on a larger degree scale. In the meantime, I can be looking for 5 waves up inside of this first wave. It will not look like that. That's really messy. 8-hour chart. Oh, but it might look like something like this. So just let's see what kind of smaller degree 1-2 we get next. But this really isn't a bad place to DCA into or add to Oklo. All right, I'm done. like that.
All right, what else is on the menu here? Let's see. Oh, I see. There's a Soxel, Soxl, and let me just flip through my screen. So here we go. This is still in a range, right? And we already know this because I showed IWM. Or not IWM, like the SMH. Did I show that this morning? No, I didn't. But the SMH is also still in a range too.
Yep.
So that kind of means that the 50% right here is going to be your resistance on the way back up. So yeah, it has potential to get a little bit more, go a little bit more up. But with that said, I'm not sure if it's really going to break above that 2145 just yet. So we are approaching a resistance zone right here. So that kind of means just be a little bit cautious, I believe. And after breaking below all of this support, this angle was lost as support, and this August 5th low was lost as a support. The 50% was lost as a support. So it really needs to reclaim this 2145 in order for any more bullish activity to occur. So with that said, your support is still the 1601 down here, previous support before a breakout. So it still could backtest that even after getting rejected, or if it does get rejected up here, it could easily roll back over and come back down to the 1601. So I do think it's just stuck, and 2145 is the target to break above. If not, be very cautious there because this has potential to roll over, guys. Right? We don't know if the semiconductors are going to be that bullish. I can just look at Nvidia though, pre-market, just to see where it's at, just to see if it's going to get back above its 122, right? And the only thing I'm looking at for Nvidia, guys, is the monthly Ichimoku cloud here, and that is at 121.91. That's really the only thing that matters because it has not closed a monthly candle below it since 2022, right? 2022, December of 2022 was the last time it was below that monthly conversion line. So if it closes a month below it, then that's not a good sign for Soxel. That's not a good sign for Nvidia. That's not a good sign for most of the semiconductors. So it's going to need a strong end of the month rally to maintain that for the continuation higher. So let's just see if that can happen. And I think it's really close right now. So I think it is possible. But if you want to take your cues from the individual stocks first before you do the 3x leverage semiconductor, then I think that's the smarter thing to do. So nothing looks like it's really ready to break out just yet for the semiconductors, but getting back above resistance will be the first step.
Yeah.
I think I got to go.
I've got QSI here.
I got to go, but yeah, just
okay. No, that's fine.
Just do one more. Do QSI, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Yeah.
QSI, then we'll go, and then we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
We'll try to cover these other ones. Yeah. QSI, it's kind of crazy. It looks like a lifetime downtrend, but the thing I like is that it really kind of has asymptotically approached these low numbers, and then it got a nice spike right here. Right, if you remember the end of the last year, spiked up to 577 all the way down here from like 61 cents. And yes, it's back down to $1, but actually $1.46 now. It went down to like $1.08. Now it's back to $1.46. If it does an ABC recovery back to just 61.8% of its previous all-time high, well, that takes us to $15.68. I just like the risk reward here. So from where price is now to there, that's like 1,000% increase to that 61.8%. And even if it just gets like to the 382 and fails at 600%, if it gets to the 23.6, like a second, like it didn't quite get there the first time, if it gets there again but fails, that's still 359% higher. So yeah, I like QSI. I've got a bunch of it. It's a great risk reward. You don't bet the farm on it, but you could put some money in it, and I think it stands a chance of getting a really good reward on it. And but the bulls, the institutional buyers, they really need to show back up. They haven't been here lately.
Yeah, and somebody was asking about those green and red lines down below, and it's just the whale momentum.
Yeah, it's right. This one's the MCDX plus. The green lines is get really big when there's lots and lots of retail trading, like the percentage of retail trading way outweighs institutional trading, and then these institutional buyers are the red bars. So when you see these red bars run up all the way up here, like in the 70%, that's when the institutions were buying it hand over fist, and then trading it back to the retailers.
Yep.
Okay.
With that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. And yeah, and there's a good chance we'll talk to Kat again, but I think we're going to try to do the triumvirate on Tuesday night.
Yeah. We'll see. All right.
We'll let you know.
Thanks again,
All right, thanks,
guys.
Matt. Good luck out there, everybody.
Yep. Bye, guys.
And look out for those resistances and all those gaps.
Yeah, just be a little bit cautious
Right,
going into this resistance and don't get too excited just yet. But we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep.
Bye-bye.